And welcome back. We are going to continue the Week 2 recap.
Hold on, Sally. Breaking news out of the LKI Invitational here. It appears that there's a trade between Luke Liguori Jr., where Luke will be acquiring Cam Newton and Jr. will be acquiring Hunt and Freeman.
No, I think that's Chris Camarote.
Oh, Croat. This is Croat?
Not even in the transactions yet.
Oh, my bad.
Breaking news.
EveryDayImRusselin is Chris?
Yes, he has Russell Wilson. So I guess he doesn't need Cam. That's just why he's shipping him.
So Chris is acquiring Hunt and Freeman, and Luke will be acquiring Newton. Yeah, I actually saw that he had both on his roster. It looks like I just started talking to my trading committee, and as of the two people voting, both have said no, so the trade will not be processed.
He was trying to trade away Hunt and Freeman?
Yeah, for Cam Newton. I think it was heavily favored to Chris's side.
Crap.
And one of the three trading committees who usually says yes said no, so you know that it was an unfair trade. That's why I like this process. And this was actually the first trade to be disallowed this year.
Yeah, we're seeing it live. It's literally happening live, guys. This isn't scripted. This is happening right now.
So so people know this is how it works. I mean, a lot of people are angry and confused.
You get it done fast. We
get it done fast. It happens. I send it right to the trading committee. I get my votes. If it's favored 2-1 in any direction, it's automatically passed through or disallowed. I wait for the trade to process for 2 days. If it's passed through, or I disallow it immediately so that you could send another trade involving those players.
Yeah, I don't understand Luke's thought process on that, but
yeah, I mean, he's getting rid of if he does that, he won't have any more bench running backs. He only has his 2 starters, so if anybody goes down, he's screwed for bye weeks. And he has 2 QBs. He's got Carson Wentz and he's got Drew Brees. So I guess he's really looking for that third QB. Looks like he's buying into the Cam Newton hype. I mean, Cam did look great on Sunday night, but I don't know if that means to trade away two of your flex-worthy running backs. But that's neither here nor there. We can move on.
I'm not sure if he's the same manager, man. I really don't. So next matchup. We're going to go over is Adon versus Chris Hansen, Chris Hansen, right? Or Camarote. This one's the worst matchup of the week, as we know. Also a comeback victory. Not like the Cowboys, but similar in a way. I wish we could see the trend of where who was in first throughout the week and took over the chart. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm pretty sure Adon had the lead for the most part until yesterday. Last night, who was it that really took over for him?
Took over. I don't know if anybody took over this matchup.
Take over.
Guys, I need to say
who played yesterday?
I have to say something before we move on. Don has 199 points for. I put up 220 points this week. That's all I have to say. I put up 20 more points than he has this season.
Chris, can we take a look at this? Chris Camarote had 2 players that put up double-digit points, and he won. And
that's why he won.
One was his kicker, and one was his QB. Not a single player on his team broke 9 points besides him. His wide receiver 1 put up 6. His wide receiver 2 put up 5. His 2 starting running backs put 2 and 3. His tight end put up 9. His flex put up 7, and his defense put up 5. And Chris Camarote is 2-0. In position for a first-round bye if he gets a win next week and Sal loses because they're playing each other.
All he needs is 7 wins, I think, for an auto spot into the top 6, and he's 4 away. He has a lot of room to I think it's 13 or 14 weeks. I think it's 13 actually.
So I guess I got it wrong. It was Adon who had the players yesterday, which was Will Lutz and New Orleans defense.
This dude's in 5th. He's in 5th.
Don was in position to win the game and didn't.
I wanna say this before I forget, because this is very important in all leagues. getting wins like this, these scrappy wins where you have low points for and somebody gets hurt, is so huge.
Joey last year.
Is so
I
huge.
mean,
Joey
it gives
wouldn't
you a
have made the
chance.
Because look, Chris Camaro lost Saquon Barkley. He didn't have Chris Godwin. Those are his first 2 picks. It looks like Godwin's going to play next week. If he doesn't, he's going to be without his first 2 picks. It's safe to say that he's due for probably a couple losses in his next coming weeks until he gets his act together.
He's playing me.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing you without his first 2 picks. That's not looking good. And then his team from the beginning, I mean, even the guys that were healthy didn't put up the numbers. I mean, without Russell Wilson, he would be there. So he's starting off 2-0. It's never good to take a loss, but I want to say this, that I think that he has room to lose now because he has these 2 wins. Like, he could afford – I don't want to say he could afford injuries for the entire season. But, these are times like I had Malcolm Brown went down this week and I still lost. So I might not have him next week, and I still got the loss. So I just want to say that it's huge the fact that he got these 2 wins, especially when you're looking for a playoff picture later on. It's probably going to come down to this. He's going to look back at this matchup. When you put up 97 points, you lose 2 players and you get a win. That's huge.
Yeah, I think it's nice to be 2-0, but this is a smokescreen for sure. His team's falling apart. I don't think he's going to get carried into the playoffs at all, especially now without Godwin and Barkley.
Let's take a look at the bench of both of these teams real quick.
Not good.
Both of these teams.
Really bad. It's really bad, guys. This is embarrassingly bad.
I think, we just talked about the trade. I think Chris could acquire someone for Cam Newton. I mean, that's an invaluable player to have sitting on your bench when you could acquire some good players. I mean, he just tried to get too much value from him, and he almost got it.
They can read it.
He could probably get a big name to fill in a gap there for at least Barkley. I mean, maybe get Freeman. I think
I can understand one of them or one of them is something else, but not the double running back. So if they want to renegotiate the trade, don't be afraid to do that just because it was vetoed. Just keep trying.
That's just our checks and balances process here, so that we don't have any unfair trading or shifting of power, I guess, so 2 teams can't combine to make a powerful team.
Dude, I think we could be staring at the loser punishment right here. I'm not even joking around.
I don't know. I think that – oh, well, yeah, not for Chris. I'm thinking Don is pretty much – I say it every year. But it's coming. It's literally coming.
Even if he gets Godwin back and he produces, and he's got Thielen, fine. What else how is this team going to hold up? Thank God he's got Russell Wilson as well, but.
Yeah, I think what Sal said was important. You really only need about 7 wins to guarantee a playoff spot. I think 6 wins will guarantee 6 or maybe even 5 wins will guarantee him to not be in the losers punishment conversation. Even if you come in 7th or 8th, you still get a bye from the losers punishment.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it. He's 2-0 already. There's 14 weeks left. If he wins half of them, he's got 9 wins. If he wins a third of them, he could still salvage, 5-6 win season. So he's got 14 weeks. He could look at it this way. With the injury he has, he's got to win 5 out of the next 14, and he's in really good shape. So when you put it that way, I don't think it seems nearly as bad.
Gotta make moves though.
Yes. Yeah, he does gotta
completely tank right now.
He does gotta make moves. I think Russell Wilson and Adam Thielen might be able to win him a game or 2. But if that, he's got to fill the rest. Barkley's out. He's got to plug that. Like what I said about handcuffs, man. He doesn't have his handcuff. He never drafts his handcuff. I feel like he's lost his first-round pick before. He lost Le'Veon Bell 2 years ago. He didn't have his handcuff either. He didn't have James Conner. I know that because I had Conner that year. So, yeah, man, this is just, drafting 101.
Something notable to mention here is that 5 teams are 2-0. I really don't think I've ever seen – in a while, I haven't seen this many teams that are 2-0. There's 5 teams that are 2-0 and 5 teams that are 0-2. That's a big deal. Wins are so much more important than points for, but you have to realize that if 5 teams are 2-0, then you're always going to sit at the bottom with whoever you're tied with. So if he loses next week and 2 other teams win, he's already pushed down to 7th. that's immediate just because he lost one game and 2 other teams won. So there's a lot of teams with a lot of wins. I think he should focus more on not staying in the bottom 4 than trying to get into the playoffs right now because, every win does count. Look at Joey. He was 0-4, and I think he got in with a 7-6 record. It was just one win. One win could have made or break his season, and that last week's win got him into the playoffs. He ended up beating like the 3 best teams in the league and winning the league. So anything can happen. He just got to keep his head up.
I think 7, 8, 9 gets you in, and then roughly 10 gets you the bye, roughly. That's what happens.
I guess, yeah, it varies every year, the bye. I think like 7's guaranteed, though. I've never seen – I'm not sure if
I think I went in 6 and 7. Remember when I won? The year I won.
It really depends on how the league turns out. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, we're looking at 7, 8 roughly to make it. 9 on definitely 10 to try to get the bye.
Yeah.
That's about right.
We do have 1 or 2 more matchups, so let's get to those real quick. I think that the matchup of the week was Tucci and Danny versus Luke Adduchio. The Fresh Prince of Hilaire versus Hollywood Era. I also want to start by saying this. I had Luke as my number 1 in the power ranking and number 1 draft. Obviously, South surpassed him. I still have Luke up there, number 2.
Both did for 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, but this if you were watching this matchup only because I was bowling with Luke that night, so we were kind of keeping our eyes on it. Luke was down by about 30, maybe a little bit less than that going into this matchup. All he had left was Alvin Kamara. If you watch the game, Alvin Kamara scored a touchdown with probably about a minute left, and then he caught a couple dump off passes to break him away. But the score was like 133 to 132 with about 2-3 minutes left in the game. This was definitely the matchup of the week to watch. I want to say that Tucci and Danny needed this win a lot more than Luke did. Again, Tucci and Danny gets struck by the injury bug. They lost Cortland Sutton for the season now. Along with their Le'Veon Bell, who's done for the season, along with their Deebo Samuel, who's done for the season. They didn't have Jamison Crowder, got hurt. These guys can't catch a break. And those are just kind of what I wanted to touch on. But if you want to look at the individual guys and give me some commentary, go for it.
Yeah, I think John. Burrow is is just going to continue to rise. I mean, I think he completed the most completions for a rookie ever. Against obviously he has a terrible O-line and a good receiving core, but they're trying to figure it out. So I mean, I think he's just going to keep going up. He might be his consistent starter over there in the QB spot for Tooch. He still got Edwards-Hilaire. Remember, being a rookie, I don't think he's going to be able to give you the 26, 30 you want every week. You gave him DJ Moore, finally showed up a little bit. Sutton is out. That sucks. It's another notable injury for him. Kelsey's going to be consistent. He will put up those 20 plus. And he's really just he's struggling to find a flex and then any depth after that at this point because of the injuries. So Tooch is not in good shape. We had Luke at number 1 for the first 2 weeks. Even though Sal, with his points forward, takes over the number 1 spot, I don't think we can sleep on Luke. Kamara is going to be a beast all season. Jackson, Lockett. Jacobs.
I want to say this too. He put up near 150 points, and Lamar Jackson probably had his worst week he'll ever have.
Sure. Yeah, so I think we could see. I mean, if we want an early prediction, we're going Weezer versus Luke all day at this point. Obviously, that's never how it always pans out, but I think those are the clear 1-2 for sure.
Yeah, I think Sal has the stronger bench.
Yeah.
Luke's bench seems like he's got a lot of guys that if somebody gets hurt, then this person will do better.
Yeah.
Cam Akers, we don't know what that backfield. Murray's just a handcuff, which would make sense. Emmanuel Sanders, he's one of those wide receiver handcuffs, I think. That if Michael Thomas isn't there and Sanders still didn't get the looks though, so that's something. I mean, he's got a great starting lineup. But if we're gonna nitpick here, that's the only thing I would say negatively. And but anything to close out. What do you think Tooch and Danny need to do moving forward? I mean, they're good managers. They work the waiver wire, but these guys just keep getting injury after injury, and they needed this win.
I feel like he sent more trades out at this point last year. So I mean, at least maybe it's not to me, but I got a bunch from him last year. I'm not sure if he's not getting on the ball with that. Have you guys gotten anything from him? I know Danny's involved with them now, so.
I don't think so.
Or
Guys, I don't want to say it's a trend, but we're seeing this two commissioner thing really start to fall apart each year. We try it. So
I don't think this time was affected by the two minds. I think it was more of an injury bug between their teams. So I mean, these are the two smartest guys I know in terms of football and fantasy managers. I think they're actually making a lot of trades. I think 2 or 3 went through. One with I'm not sure who they went through with, but I think they made 2 trades, and they continually look to make different trades with different people. So they're not going to let their team go to shit. So that's important. They have 2. I mean, they live together. These guys have kind of the same minds in terms of fantasy. So I think they'll pull it together. And if they stay as co-managers for years to come, I think that their chemistry will only build, and I think they're going to have a pretty good team.
I agree. I just hope that I wonder if sometimes there's, even if you live together, is there a lack of like getting things done because of communication? But I guess living
Yeah,
together.
I talked to them personally, and it seemed like they were actually pretty good with it. Big and Ant, I actually think they had issues between them, and Ant kept saying like how hard it was to co-manage and having to go through another person to make decisions. And I don't think they feel that way. I think they feel like it's only helping them that they have 2 people to, make a decision or choose a player and always be on top of things. So I think they're actually enjoying it.
Good. Yeah, this is a tough break. I mean, they still have some pieces that they could help keep the glue together, kind of thing. But it's not now for the year. Is that what I'm hearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This kind of sucks, man. Bell was the first one. We'll see. I feel bad, but it's a long season still. Only in week 2, going into week 3, so still put up 133 points though.
A lot more injuries to come.
Let's go to the last matchup. I think it was Cass, the Battle of the Ants.
The battle of the ex-co managers. I mean, this is a low-key rivalry. I just think it just built up from last year, just because of co-managing the team together and then having to do the loser punishment. I think it just by default becomes a nice little rivalry here. I think some of the notables, though, you got Kyle Murray. He just continues to improve. Tyler Boyd looked very solid. I think they could have found him more, which means
he actually dropped 1 touchdown too.
So a lot more upside there. Bond's been consistent. Juju's been okay. Gurley went MIA. Drake, not the numbers we're looking for from him. So hopefully I think on his upside weeks though, his running backs are going to be awesome, but they're going to have some weeks like this. Unfortunately.
Look at Big Boy's bench, man.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Fournette is finding a rhythm in the new team, so he might just become a flex or a starter. So Robinson as well is definitely the guy replacing Fournette. So I mean, he's got some depth now. So that's good, and that's because of you.
I think I didn't give him either of those guys, but
In general, though,
he did get Drake from me. I guess the only thing I'm happy about seeing with Drake is that he's not going off for him either. I know it's only early, but it looks like Kyler Murray's throwing the ball a lot now, which I mean I guess is good because he has them both. Drake's getting the touches, but he's not finding the end zone as much. Season just started, so we'll see. The touches are there. He'll have a breakout game. I'm not off Big's team either. I think Big has a good team. I think he's got a good bench. We talked about this right after the draft. He's got a bunch of young guys, and he's got guys that need to take a few weeks to establish within their team. Like I said, Jacksonville, they're going to figure out their backfield. It looks like they did. Tampa Bay, they're going to figure out the backfield. It looks like they did. It's going to take them 2-3 weeks. We said this in our first podcast, if you remember. If you play it back, I was big on his bench and the young guys he drafted. To touch on Cass' team, I think it definitely should be viewed as a big win for him because he didn't have Michael Thomas. So he didn't have his first-round pick, and he still dropped 168 points. That's a very good week for him. It's a very good week for anybody, but especially for him after he had a very rough week 1. The bad thing is I think where he took Allen Robinson is not going to be producing what he was projected to do. I drafted him in a couple other leagues. People went high on him. They're not looking his way. He's got some locker room issues with the Bears. But other than that, Cass' team looks good. I think Austin Eckler just gets a boost with Herbert starting in the Chargers lineup. Tyrod Taylor couldn't move the ball for anything. But, Eckler and Melvin Gordon, I think those are 2 receiving backs that give him a solid floor. I think he got a little bit lucky with the Jonnu Smith. He had 4 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns. I don't know if Tannehill is going to be looking to him always, but that was a big hit for him considering he drafted a tight end very late. Yeah, he gets 4 catches. Yeah, he's got 8 catches and 3 of them are touchdowns. So that's something to keep in mind.
Big red zone guy now.
But considering he grabbed that tight end late, that's a good pick for
Yeah.
him. He did lose Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, Mostert's a big point.
Yeah, he did lose Raheem Mostert. It looked like he was starting to go off. He took the first run to the crib versus the Jets, and then he got hurt soon after. He was probably poised for an even better game than that. So the only thing of that, with Michael Thomas, I don't know what he's going to do with his flex. Is he going to put Gibson? Is he going to put Gasking? Is he going to put AJ Green? I'm not sure.
There's a significant drop off now for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, those guys are okay. I don't know if he has a set flex. So if I had to pick a weak spot, that's there. But Matt Ryan, like we said, he's got that 3-headed monster that he's throwing to. So he's going to give you touchdowns every week. I like Terry McLaurin. I think he's the guy in Washington. I think Washington is way better than they were last year. I think they're better than the Giants. They'll probably beat them this year in our division. They're actually leading the division right now. They're 1-1. But they.
Do we have a timetable on Michael Thomas, or is that week to week as well?
I think that's week to week. They expect him to maybe be back this week limited or hopefully the week after that. Yeah, I think the Saints need him. Saints lost last night. We watched versus the Raiders. Offense didn't look as crisp. Yeah, man.
I think he should make a move in the meantime for the next few weeks because without Mostert and Thomas, he could be on a very downhill trend unless he just pulls out some squeaky wins.
Yeah.
I think there is a significant drop off for him. For Big, I mean, he just needs. I think he needs to his receivers are the bigger problem. He needs to lean heavily on his running backs. Maybe just plug in his best 2 receivers there, Boyd and Schuster, and maybe lean on a third running back as a flex. I think he'll be fine. I think he's on the up. Honestly, I see him trending upwards.
Me too.
It was a great. It's actually personally, it's a big win for Cass. Forget the rivalry just because of the injuries and getting the 1-1, right?
Yep.
So 0-2 is a terrible start. Not just real football, but in a fantasy setting when we're only doing 13 regular season weeks. So